other people will say, no, you are showing the weakness. No, I'm showing I'm a human being, that life is not easy. You say that before. Life have difficult moments. That's in the Bible too. But we are not alone. And how I came out of that situation stronger, building my resilience, and have joy right now.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle, the inspiring podcast challenging norms and helping you redefine vulnerability as a strength. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. Each episode of Vulnerability Muscle dives into a variety of topics such as mental health, social issues, and mindset shifts. We explore the power of vulnerability and fostering meaningful connections, healing, building resilience, and promoting personal growth. Sometimes these conversations are uncomfortable, but good workouts often are. So join us and flex that vulnerability muscle. Welcome to this episode of Vulnerability Muscle. I'm your host, Reggie Ford. And today with me, I have a guest who exudes joy and happiness and resilience all in one. If you're not watching this, I encourage you to go to YouTube and watch because you're going to feel the energy coming from the screen. But her name is Stephanie Mancini-Sims. And Stephanie is a Colombian-Italian happiness coach, master in psychology, and international speaker with over 17 years of experience transforming workplace cultures across multinational companies. With a deep passion for emotional connection, well being, and organizational happiness, she empowers individuals and teams to find joy even in adversity. Creator of the Happiness Without Complications methodology, Stephanie blends her professional expertise with her personal journey of resilience and faith to inspire others to live purposefully. She currently resides in the United States, where she continues to share practical tools for cultivating joy, resilience, and meaningful leadership. Welcome, Stephanie. How are you?
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you for this invitation. I'm super happy, full of joy for this chance.
Yes, I am excited. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a minute. Before we hop in, I want to ask just what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for everything. Today's another day. I'm
Mm.
healthy. I have my family. I have a job. I have this great opportunity with you that I wasn't searched for, that got through into my life. So I'm so grateful.
Let's go. I love it. And I'm grateful for this opportunity in this moment as well. And I know that I'm gonna gain so much from this conversation. And I think the listeners will as well. Before we hop into more of your story and your work, I got a segment called What Comes to Mind. And it's just three questions, and you let me know the first thing that you think of, okay? So, what comes to mind, Stephanie, when you hear the word vulnerability?
For me, that word comes like I feel like showing the real me, be authentic
I
to others.
yeah, I love that. I love that. What do you do to center yourself, to ground yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or maybe even depressed?
I go to God's presence. That's
Mm.
where my strength come.
Nice, nice. And what is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Um, Being surrounded with all my family. For me, family is so important. I grew up with my grandparents and my aunts, my cousins. So I'm only child, but I was around big family.
Nice. And where did you grow up? Which country did you grow up in?
I grew in Colombia, in Barranquilla.
Hmm. Oh, nice, nice. Tell me a little bit about what that looked like. I'm curious. I want to go to Colombia. I think it's high on my list of places to visit, but paint a picture for me. What did it look like for you?
It's a wonderful country. My city, I have to say, it's a city very close from the sea to the sea. So people, because of the weather, we have hot weather all the time. So people is very happy all the time. We have sun all the time. We are very kind to each other. So it's a great place to live and to grow. So I encourage you not just to come to Colombia, but go to Barranquilla.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will have to check that out if I
The
get an
food is also
opportunity.
very delicious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I've had true authentic food, but what I have had has been amazing. So I can only imagine. Who of those people that you named, who would you say was most influential for you during your upbringing?
During my what? Sorry.
Your when you were growing up, like when as a child, who of the people your family members that you mentioned, who was influential to you growing up?
Well, I will say, I mean, my mom first because she was a single mom. So she always showed me to be a strong person, resilient no matter what. She's a woman of faith. That's very important for me. And I also was very close to my grandpa.
Mm.
Um, you could learn like a lot from him. So I
Yeah.
love to be surrounded by him all the time.
Oh, I can resonate with the grandpa. Grandpas are special, special people. If you have the opportunity to have your grandpa in your life, I think that's such a blessing, especially when you have a good one who you look forward to seeing and being around. And so I'm glad that you had him and your mom. You've had a lot of opportunities to show your resilience, and life, you've had a lot of adversity through your life. Do you want to speak to some of that adversity and how resilience helped you get through that?
Yeah, of course. Like from the very beginning of my life, like my dad left my mom when she was pregnant. So that rejection, of course, when you are growing and you don't have the skill at the moment, is very hard at school when other kids have their parents, both parents, in every situation. But then I was, surrounded by my family, my grandpa, my uncles, and I received that love. And especially, I think I was always connected with God because that's
Mhm.
memories I have. I don't have memories for all my childhood, but I remember my connection with God all the time. So I think He always showed me He was my father always. He was there with
Mhm.
me. So that's made
Wow.
me strong. Like I wasn't alone, and I was a very special daughter for Him.
Yes, and it's so important, like, with 2 things that you just mentioned. One was the relationships in the community that you had with your family and how supportive they were in the absence of your biological dad being there.
Mm.
And so relationships in terms of helping build resilience, like, Harvard research on the developing child says that the number one greatest factor in helping a child who's gone through adversity build resilience is at least one caring, loving, supportive adult. And it doesn't say parent, it says adult. And you had your mom, and then you had other adults around helping raise you and helping build that resilience. So the relationships and community is one piece, but then also your faith. And every time I hear or see you, I think of how strong your faith is and how connected to God you are, and how connected to him, to he is to you. And I think that it's such a powerful way of going through life, because like you said, you're not alone. You're never alone. Even in the absence of some of those relationships, if someone were to, God forbid, pass away or to leave your life or walk out, like, you still have a relationship with something bigger than yourself. And that's so
Right.
powerful. Wow. How did you cultivate that relationship with God? When did that start?
So it started with my day, like when I just wake up, I need to search His presence because
Mhm.
that's where my strengths come. So I start my day worshiping Him, talking with Him in praying, giving Him all the burdens I have, everything that is outside my control. So that's
Mm.
why I believe I have a powerful father that he's in control of everything. And whatever I cannot do, I'm so sure when I read the Bible, I read his promises for me, he's in control of everything. So, and I
Wow.
start being with that gratitude attitude all the time, like
Mhm.
for everything, but especially because I have him in my life. That's everything I need, all I need in my
Yeah.
life.
Oh man, that gratitude is a powerful force. It's when you're expressing gratitude, when you're looking for things to be grateful for, you start to see the positive things in life.
Right.
you wake up and like, I'm gonna be grateful for three. I encourage listeners every night, either write down or simply think about or talk about three things that you're grateful for in the day. Right? Just write it down. It can be as big as I'm grateful for the new house that I just bought, or as small as I'm grateful for the ability to breathe on my own. Right? And we say that's small, but for some people, it's not. And so when you start to look at the world like that, the positivity just shines. I'm curious, what do you think? Because I think some people, when they see how happy you are and how joyful you are despite some of the challenges that you've gone through, they may say it's fake or that nobody's positive all the time. What would you say to a person like that?
I always say it's my faith first, of course, and being in that gratitude attitude or mindset all the time. So when I talk to others, I try to encourage them to live that way because that's part of my methodology that I live every day, is part of my habits, of my routine. So that's the way I live. So, like you say, so a lot of people take life for granted, so they don't appreciate the little things that are so important in life. Like I could say, or another person could say, I told you at the beginning, my son just left on Sunday. He's in another country. I'm not going to see him very soon, just couple months. I
Mm,
could be sad and crying, and yeah, I allow myself to live that emotion on Sunday. After that, I cry. Yeah, I'm a human being. But after that, I just pray, God, give me the strength to me and to my son, because
mm,
we need to be strong in this time alone. But I'm not alone in this time being apart, but I feel joy. I feel in
mm,
peace. I know God is taking care of him over there. I know I have other purposes and work to have to do here in this country. He will be with me when God's allow. He's in control of everything. When you
mm.
understand that in life, you can be in joy, because the
Wow.
joy comes when you are on His presence.
Mhm. I hear something hovering above the circumstances of life. Right? Circumstances will be hard at times, and you're going to be separated from your son, or you're going to have a difficult situation at work, or you're going to have a difficult situation in your home life. But there I also hear, like, above that is this level of contentment with life, knowing that things are going to be okay, that you're
Mhm.
going to make it through the difficult times, and you're going to weather those storms as they come, like knowing that things are going to come. And I think that that is a strong and beautiful way, because you said you acknowledge the sadness. You acknowledge the sadness as it comes up. You cry because it makes sense to cry when your son is
Right.
leaving,
I cannot hide
right?
my emotion, and I cannot avoid. And no, I'm not allowed to cry because I talk about joy and happiness. No, I'm a human being,
Mm.
and you need
Yeah.
to live that emotion to take it out
Mm,
and then
that's so
feel with
real.
what? With feel with His presence.
That's so real, because I think for a lot of people, I'm including myself when I talk about this. For a really long time, I wanted to suppress the emotions. I didn't want to feel the heavy negative, quote unquote, negative emotions, knowing that now I don't believe that any emotion is negative. It's just
It's an
indications.
emotion.
It's yeah, it's just an emotion. It's just a feeling. And so to feel that, it allows you to, one, get what you need to get out of you, because trapped inside you, it starts to cause a lot of toxicity and stress. But once it gets out, you can then realize the positive emotions even more. And so suppressing those negative emotions, it also suppresses the positive ones, and we want to experience joy and happiness. So that means that we're going to experience sadness, heartbreak, and disappointment. And I'm curious about the relationship with your son. So you're in the United States. How'd you get here, and where was he during that period of time?
Well, I get here last year in March because of love. I found the
Oh.
love of my life here, and I married a wonderful man. So I came here. My son, of course, he was aware of everything, and he's like, "Mom, I want to." be in Colombia because he's 15 years old. He's a teenager now. His friends are more important. He wants to finish school over there. And of course, I accept and respect that. It's more hard for me than for him. He's with his dad, which is a great dad. So that's the decision we make. And he's coming just here for vacation. So that's how I came here to the country.
Wow. And so you came for love. I want to hear about it. Tell me about it. Let's hear about the love.
Well, I got divorced in 2019, and then I allowed myself in that difficult moment, adversity moment, uh, to heal my heart. And then after that, God did a great job in my heart. And when I felt I was ready, I started my search. And I always want, because of the culture, I know in Colombia I don't like so much the cultural. We have been raised there over there, so
Mm.
machista tradition and culture demands.
Mhm.
So that's why I
Can you
thought, okay,
explain what that is?
when is a person, is a man, when he's everything, like man is allowed in our culture to have a lot of women's, so he's the more strong. And they don't respect women's, most of them, I don't say everyone, but it's the culture, it's part of the culture. So that's why I decide to search in apps in other countries. I wasn't focused
Mhm.
like just here in America, but that's where I found my love.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I mean, and I ask about that because I think it's relevant, especially as you think about you also have a son who's growing up in that culture, and it didn't fit you, and you didn't like it, that. And I know that, some of those influences will shape him, but also you will shape him in a big way of looking at
Mhm.
the world and women differently. Another piece to that too is I believe in a society and culture like that. I grew up probably not uh, the exact same as that, but I remember when I was a kid, like, one of the questions that I would get asked was, "How many girlfriends do you have?" Not as a kid, right? And I'm 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and it's like, "How many girlfriends do I have?" Like, and so now it became a status symbol, a status to have more and more girls around and to not treat them well. And so that I can understand a little bit, and in that there was very little vulnerability because vulnerability was viewed as a weakness. And a whole part of the mission of vulnerability muscle is to redefine that as a strength, because as you tell your story, as you talk about the empowerment that you get from the adversity that you've overcome, I think that helps to build greater connection and a sense of healing and growth for us all. And so, yeah, I'm glad that you recognize the values that you hold, to look and search elsewhere. And so in March of 2024,
Yeah.
you came to the United States. What was that transition like for you?
Well, it wasn't easy at the beginning, of course. Left all my family over there, my life, everything I was used to. But of course, it was a decision made by heart, because we have plans for the future. And knowing that God is in control of everything, that He opens the door for everything, even though, like, I got the support of the company I work for. So everything, like, when you see he's in control and he's like allowing you to do things, everything works good.
Mm, wow, wow. Were you culture shocked? Did you experience culture shock at all, where things were so different that you missed home?
No, I think I talked that a few days ago with a friend of mine. I was
Okay.
telling her, like, maybe my mom raised me being like flexible in life, which I think is another skill very important in life, to adapt everywhere. So I live a couple of years ago. I live in Germany for 1 year, study
Okay.
over there. I've lived in another city because I live in Bogota when I before I came
Mhm.
here for 14 years. So you realize like you have to adapt to everywhere. Maybe some part of the things that was strange for me is the time for food, for eating. Like here you are not used to have at least the 3 meals at a
Uh-huh.
time, and everyone is working, is in different schedules. So like we enjoy our breakfast together, usually it's on the weekend. uh, I'm used to have my lunch at certain time. My husband is not like that, but then I have to learn like it doesn't matter if I'm hungry, I have to eat, I don't have to wait for him. So
Yeah.
I have to get used to that. That's the difference, but nothing like I will say, oh, it's so different, difficult to adapt. No, I'm happy here. I'm happy with him, with his family, which is another blessing to my life. I have
Yes.
here two parents. I have two new siblings, two sisters that I love so much. So God gave me another family here, and I feel
Oh,
so
wow.
loved.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I want to transition and
And
talk
I
a
have
little
two
bit.
more kids. So now I have three kids because my son have two kids, so they are my kids too.
Yes. Oh, nice. That's so beautiful.
I'm
And I
blessed.
oh, I
I'm a blessed
like you
one.
said, you were blessed with another family. Like that
Yeah.
is, and to be blessed with another loving, supportive family, especially, you come from big family who supports and lifts each other up. And so that is an expectation I'm sure that you wanted and needed in a future relationship. And so I'm glad that you found that. Oh, that's
And
so
I pray
beautiful.
for that. I was
Yeah.
specific to God, like, I want a man like this, but I also want his family like this. And
Mm.
he gave me the desires of my heart.
Wow.
He's-
I'm curious because I think somebody out there may be searching for something similar. What did you see during the early phases before you met? While y'all were talking, what did you hear from him or gain from him to indicate that he was that type of man with that type of family?
when we just start talking, we feel that connection both, even just chatting, not just texting each other, not just like a video call. We just text each other for a week, knowing a little bit more of our history, what we were looking for. We were looking the same to form family, for marriage, because you can find a lot of things or persons in those dating apps. And I saw a man of values. For me, that's very important. A man of faith, because he was looking for a prayerful woman, and so he also believed in God. For him, also God is first. So for me,
Mhm.
that's the first thing. Because when you
Mhm.
understand that, everything comes good later. So we
Yeah.
start to understand the way he see and value a woman, support a man also with emotional intelligence, that not everyone, work in that. So those are the things that I got show me, and this is the one. Even
Yeah.
when the interaction came with the video call, sometimes his family was here, and they, say hello to me and talk to me. Then when he went to Colombia, and the message they say, like, they never saw him so happy like he was with me.
Mm.
And then when they received me here the first time I came to the country just to visit and know them, I feel welcome. I feel
Yes.
loved. Like my mother-in-law, I love her so much. When you look at this, mom,
Yeah.
she received me, with tears on her eyes, like, I love you already because you make my son so happy.
Wow. Wow.
That's
That's
all. I
beautiful.
have a great relation with her. I love her so much. I would love that she will live closer to us, because they live 2 hours away from us. But every time she comes here, we go there, visit, we are together, we go shopping, we have our girl time. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Things like that.
That is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I love to I love hearing and learning about your family, both back at home in Colombia and here in the States, and I can feel the support. Like I feel like there are multiple people with us right now lifting you up and help
Wow.
and walking with you through this. So
Yeah, my
I think
father-in-law too. Like even my
yeah.
my husband say you are special. He's not
Yeah.
with anyone the way he's with you. I feel the love of another father with me. He's
Wow.
proud of me. He's still like from the beginning, he say, I know you were special. And my
You
two
are.
sister-in-laws, I love them so much. They are so special with me. They make my life special. They were with me in my wedding. They were the witnesses for our wedding. So I feel so loved. I'm not alone.
Yes. I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about the work that you do now. And I'm curious how, all those personal experiences in the life that you've lived, how did that influence you developing happiness without complications?
Every like in every task I do in my work and in my personal journey, like I try to share my methodology with a normal way in my social media and in at work. I have every Friday a post that I call the Vitamin Friday, when I try to share encourage tips for people, know how to apply these simple things, because my methodology are simple 5 steps. Start your day
Mhm.
with gratitude and prayer, with God.
Mm.
Then after that, I do my exercise, my workout, which is something simple. If I can go for a walk, I go for a walk. If I can do a 15 minutes workout, because that's also triggers some, um, endorphins, serotonin, that, hormones that builds and boost the happiness and the joy in your body.
Mhm.
Also, I try to take care of my sleep, which is very important. When
Yes.
you take care of your body, which is the temple of the Holy Spirit, you see that. Other thing that I encourage people is to eat healthy. And
Mhm.
when I mean of ill or what you consume is not just food, which of course that brings you, nutrients and things, but also what you read, what you listen, because that also goes to your mind. So that keeps your
Mhm.
mindset. If you're surrounding with a toxic people, negative people, or you are watching news all the time. I don't like to watch news, but I know what I need to know, because if something is happening, you will know. You
Right.
will know, but I don't
You'll
need to
know.
watch news and to listen all the negativity. And I don't like
Mhm.
people when they are negative, like, no, this is not going to happen. No, I have a faithful mindset that my husband say I'm crazy in that way. But if God
Yeah.
give me a promises, so I believe all his promises. I know
Mhm.
that they are going to fulfill sometime in the perfect time. And
Mhm.
then I take care of that. And one of the other important step, or the last one, is to serve other. When you help
Mm.
other people, when you serve other, it's better to give than to receive. That's in the Bible
Yeah.
too. The
Yeah.
Bible is our manual, because God created us and he left there everything the way we have to live. When you help others, and I think that's why I choose to become a human resource person, because in human resource you can help many people. So I lived for that. I live to
Mm.
serve other, to help other people.
Yes.
And
Ah,
when
I
I talk
love
with
those.
people is when I feel more happy. And people can feel, like you say at the beginning, my energy, they say, is something you give. Not just you give me peace when I talk with you, your happiness, everything that the energy they will say in the word. But I know this, my faith is what I bring, is the light God put in me. So
Yes.
I help other peoples, that trigger to the oxytocin that is so important, to feel
Yes.
joy, to feel even less stress. So that's how I manage.
Wow.
That's our my five
Wow.
steps. It's so easy.
That yes. And like like you say, it's easy and yet we neglect it. And so I just want to recap the five again. So it was one, wake up, pray, have a conversation with God, meditate. Two was to move your body, exercise, work out.
Hmm.
Three was sleep,
Sleep and what you eat.
sleep and what you eat.
Yeah.
Four was what you consume.
Also, sorry, the fourth one, maybe I didn't mention that with detail, is the meaningful relations, your network,
Ah,
your
yes. Okay.
family, your friends, people that, that leave your hands when the adversity come.
Yes.
You cannot be
Yes.
alone. You cannot be
Yes.
alone.
You cannot. Oh, I love that. So the relationships and then serving
Serving
others.
others.
I love it. I love it because one, I think, I'm not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual and I have a connection to God and a higher power. And so that my moments of meditation, right? I think of it in that way. Or there are times where, I'm showing my gratitude or asking for clarity and things to that higher power. And so I love that, and I'm constantly moving my body. I think that is something that we our bodies evolved to do, and we don't do enough of it anymore when we're
Mhm.
inside for 90% of the day or even more, and we're behind computers, behind screens, and so doing those two things. But when you start to stack all those other pieces, the positive pieces of what you consume, the relationships, and serving others. I don't know if people realize that acts of kindness actually help you live longer and give you better health, right? And improves your heart rate variability, which is like your the signal and the signs of your nervous system. It increases things that you said earlier, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the endorphin levels of your body. And so, yeah, providing those services and acts to others helps you live longer and healthier, happier lives.
So I started working in this happiness program 3 years ago, and I try, to give the tools by doing trainings, being practical in those trainings, help the employees and the leaders to develop those skills in their life. And my last training was like leading with your heart to create a culture of joy. How
Mm,
you cannot create a culture of joy when you lead from your heart, when you have empathy with others, when you help your employees to grow. You understand their situation because not every day is a good day. So you listen to them if they have a hard day because something on their life is happening. How can you support them? So
mhm.
when you have that and create that culture of trust and happiness and joy in your company, people, create that engaging employees. They really want to stay there, and that also encourage them to give the best of them when people feel
Yes,
support. So
yes.
happiness and productivity is linked.
Mhm. I mean, absolutely right, right. Happiness and productivity go hand in hand. Happiness and retention go hand in hand. Happiness and, teamwork go hand in hand. And so you're going into these companies and helping to establish and develop and build up cultures of well-being, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think we need to do it all over the board, from government agencies to schools to
Right.
sports teams to everywhere. And I'm curious, like, what are the steps that you take when you're going in, and let's say you're starting from scratch with a company? What are some steps that you take?
What is important, to know how like listen both parts, leaders and listen employees, how both feels, what they want, and how you can create something unique for them. What are the skills that you have to develop in them? And some companies today are working very hard, the company I work for, in emotional intelligence, because
Hmm.
it's very important to work in that, to create that environment that
Hmm.
allows the happiness in employees, come arise and improve when you work in your leaders. so they can develop that emotional intelligence, that empathy with the coworkers, that encourage them to create. We have a training that it's called connector manager. And when you connect with people, that's the most important. You have to connect with your people. When you connect
Mm-hmm.
with people, they don't feel like if they're a number, which is sad when companies treat people like a number. No, they're persons. Each one
Right.
is unique. So that's the
Right.
way. And then you create the different trainings, activities, everything being practical. So things that they can apply in the trainings. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way I work.
Wow, that's beautiful. One, going in and getting, excuse me, getting both sides of what people want out of that organization, right? So you have this executive team, this upper level management, and then you have the employees, you have people, you have stakeholders, and saying, hey, what do we want? And then connecting the two, and how do we get there to a
Hmm.
place? Because we all want to be happy and win and
Right.
succeed together, and it's sometimes there's just this friction that gets in the way where we're not seeing each other eye to eye. We don't express that empathy. We don't have an outward mindset to incorporate what other people's experience and preferences and perceptions are. And so it's beautiful to see that you do that. And then I think it's so important to see people, like to see them for who they are. And this is amazing. So I just got a new word that I learned today, and it's called sawubona. Sawubona, and it's a Zulu greeting that translates to "I see you." More than words of politeness, Sawubona carries the importance of recognizing the worth and dignity of each person. It says, "I see the whole of you, your experiences, your passions, your pain, your strength, and your weaknesses, and your future. You are valuable to me." Right? And I didn't even plan on that being a part of this episode, but it literally this morning, that was the first word that I woke up to. And it's about seeing people for the wholeness of them and accepting them as they are.
They're
And I
right.
think that creates the psychological safety and that emotional intelligence, like to help people show up as themselves and thrive in the environments that they're in.
Hmm.
Ah, that's so beautiful.
I love it. I love that
I
word.
I so how do you bring in the joy and purpose into the work that you do? How do you express those values through the work?
So I try when I work in a remote environment. I manage 8 countries, so I try to support even now global projects. So more than 8 countries I support. Um, every day in every interaction you can make the difference. When you approach a person, the way you talk to them, even when you need to ask for something, I always say it's not what you're asking, it's the way you ask the things, it's the way you talk with others. And also, maybe it's because I have that spiritual connection with God. The Holy Spirit sometimes show me things in that person that they need to listen my story, that they
Mhm.
need to talk and release. So I've met person at work, maybe people in other departments, finance, or I work with a lot of engineers. So one time, one person, and so like, how are you? Just do that question, that simple question. Is something maybe cultural in my country? We really care how are you, and we mean real to know how are you today. And
Mhm.
when that other person asked me like, I'm not that good. I was in a leave of absence because I had anxiety crisis. So that create the moment when I start talking with that person. How can I help you with the
Mhm.
things I know? So I start sharing information, tips, of course, my faith, because that go first, how that changed my life. I share my story. That's when the vulnerability come. Other people will say, no, you are showing the weakness. No, I'm showing I'm a human being, that life is not easy. You say that before. life have difficult moments. That's in the Bible too, but we are not alone. And how I came out of that situation stronger, building my resilience, and have
Mm-hmm.
joy right now. So I've seen how that person and other people I share my story change, and my
Mm-hmm.
story helped them. And the tips I share with them, things that I
Yes.
share in the company, that I share in my social media, how can that, get to the right person at the right moment? Even I've seen in people that left the company, they keep following social media because they like to read what I share with them. And I do with my
Mm-hmm.
love, with all the love of my heart, because that's my purpose. That's the other important thing, Reggie. When you find your purpose, how do you went to that difficult time, that adversity, and you find the purpose of in that? So I found the purpose in my painful moments. How
Mm.
can I help
Mm.
other people go through that, because I already am out?
Yes. Yes. You mentioned a couple things that I want to touch on. Is one, the curiosity and looking at a person and asking, how are you? Truly, how are you? And getting some input from them about what they're dealing with. And then you got even more curious. How can I help you? Right? And not jumping straight to the solution that you think ought to be the one to help them, but asking them what they need. I think that was absolutely beautiful, just expressing that and then bringing out your own vulnerability. You're modeling that vulnerability to build a connection with them. Like you said, it's not weakness,
Mhm.
it is human. And when a human feels that they can connect with another human through a shared experience, they're more willing to share their experience. And then we can actually get to a place where, okay, this may help and this may help. But before we get to that point, we don't truly know. And I'm curious, you've turned your adversity and your pain into purpose. How would you encourage others to look at that pain in that way to where they can form it into adversity or into purpose?
Right. So you need to understand that, and I love that verse in the Bible in Romans, that everything works good for the one who loved them. And I focus in the word everything. So
Mm.
everything that happened in my life has a purpose that is going to turn in something positive at the end. So I need to understand first that it's just a moment. It's not going to be the whole story. It's just a season. And then
Mm.
what can I learn? Not what is happening to me. So like, what can I learn from this situation, and how I can help others with this? So that's
Mhm.
when you find the purpose. Is the how, not the why.
Yeah. I
Because if
think
you
that
haven't,
takes
why
a
me? No.
yeah,
What
yeah. It takes
for?
a
Is
shift
what
in
for
mindset.
is to help others. So I got in a difficult situation,
Mhm.
in a marriage. So now I can encourage women to understand God is a God of second chance, and then you can write a second story of love, or being far away from my family, my son especially, is not the end of the world. How can I do something important with purpose here? So in everything that you think is a difficult moment, you need to find the what for I'm going through this, not the why.
Mm.
And then you
That's
find the
good.
purpose.
Yeah. That's so good. And I think it takes a lot of introspection to be able
Right.
to do that. You have to sit with it and actually ask yourself those questions and answer those questions with a mindset that is looking for purpose, that is looking for the gratitude of what can I get from this? Because I think you have a positive mindset, right? And that's probably been a part of your life to see that, whereas some people may not carry that. And so when it happens, they're just like, this sucks. It always sucks. It's always me. It always happens to me. But
Mhm.
a huge shift in mindset is challenging that thought process and asking the question, what am I learning from this? How can I alchemize this pain into something purposeful?
Yeah.
And I think that that is a beautiful way, and you've done it so well. I'm curious of any responses or breakthroughs or stories that you've had from people you've helped that can uplift the audience. Like, have you had a story where you saw someone in a current state, and then fast forward going through working with you, working in the company that you worked for, things change for them?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. People like, hey, that what you teach in that training that really helped me. And also like I share with my family, and that's what I want, that they take all the tools I give them and to share with others. You need to spread happiness to others
Yeah.
and give the
Yeah.
skills. And also what you mentioned that about the positive mindset, like is something you can build. Not everyone can have that from the beginning of their life. uh, I don't know, I'm grateful that God created me that way.
Yeah.
But you can train that, you can train being positive.
Mhm.
So like always focus in the good things of the situation. Every situation has something good, every situation. So
Yes.
you decide, and I always teach in my trainings, like what kind of glasses are you wearing, the
Mhm.
positive or the negative, because
Mhm.
every situation have both sides. So which one do you want to focus now?
Right,
And that's
right.
that's the way to see life. That's the way I see my life
Yes.
all the time.
I there is a book that I just read by Barbara Fredrickson, who has developed several theories around positivity, and the book is called Positivity. And she talks about the positivity ratio, and this is the number of great positive things or thoughts or experiences that you experience versus the negative. And she says that a positivity ratio of 3 to 1, three positive things to one negative thing, is what tips the scale in building and compounding into a more positive way of thinking. And those positive thoughts and actions and things have to be genuine, organic. And so
Mhm.
to go out and find things genuinely that you can say something positive about, or that you can have a positive thought about, to combat those negative moments as they happen, because they're going to
They're
happen,
gonna
because that's
happen.
life, right?
Yeah.
This negative thing happens. How can I organically and genuinely find three positive things to combat that, and do that repeatedly to tip the scale to where your mindset is drawn to see more positive things?
Yeah.
So I
Create a
think,
habit by
yeah,
repeating
it's
and
in us.
repeating. It
Mhm.
is.
It is in us, and just like that positivity can compound, that negativity can compound too. And so to be aware, like if you're listening to this, that means you may be aware, more aware now of the positive thoughts, of the negative thoughts that run through your head. So come back to it. Remember your gratitude practice. Remember your faith and your joy and the resilience of so many people who have turned that adversity into something positive. This has been a great conversation. I do not even want to go, but before we head out of here, I have another segment called Rapid Reflections, Rapid Fire, fill in the blank. So the first one is: joy during adversity is blank.
Joy during adversity is the most important thing you need to find on God's presence. That will only
Mm.
come in on His presence.
Mm. My greatest superpower is blank.
Being positive and have be faithful person.
Yeah. A misconception people have about happiness is blank.
People think like happiness, or I will say, people confuse happiness and joy are different.
Mm.
So happiness is when is linked with something outside. Yeah, like you have an achievement. It's you are living in a great moment right now. So it's everything outside. But joy come from here. Joy
Mm.
come when you are connected with God, because no
Mm.
matter what is happening, you receive the strength on His presence, and that's when joy comes. No matter what is happening outside, you are filled with joy. no matter the, like, I'm going through different things right now in my life, which I'm going through, I will smile. I have my joy. I'm not crying. When I need to, in a moment, I do. But most of the time, I have the joy and the peace that
Mm.
he gives me. So,
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. If I could tell somebody struggling right now one thing, it would be blank.
mid cut.
Mm,
Mid cut.
mm. If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be blank.
You don't know the plans he has for you. He had great
And
plans
then,
for you.
yes, this last one, a small habit that transformed my mindset is blank.
Gratitude.
Gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. Let's get it. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, this has been absolutely amazing. I understand how you've been so impactful in spreading happiness and well-being to organizations, to individuals, and you exude that. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. Before we close out of here, are there any final thoughts, any burning desires, anything that you wish I had asked that you want to talk about? Is that anything on your chest?
Um, no, I just hope that this podcast get everyone who needs to listen this message, and whoever needs more information, that of course go to my social media, with I try to share, being bilingual, so I try to share in Spanish and English,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
information, so I can reach more people.
Can you give us a bit of hope in Spanish to some folks that are listening that may be Spanish speakers as well?
Ajá, ok. Um, el gozo viene de su presencia. Él es todo. Él llena tu corazón en su presencia, y el Espíritu Santo va a ser tu fortaleza.
Mm. What I caught a couple words. What did you say?
Um, that joy comes from His presence, and that the Holy Spirit will give you the strength.
Mm. Wow, wow. Stephanie, thank you so much. If people want to reach you, you want to shout out what your social medias are and your websites or anything like that so that people can find you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I try to share more there. Maybe, I'm try to be more active there, in Stephanie Mancini-Sims there, and on Instagram too, Steffi Mancini-Chi. So
Mhm.
there you can find my posts. I try to encourage, give tips all the time.
Yes, I will make sure to link those. And this has been fantastic. So, Stephanie, with all the things that you could be doing and all the places you could be, I appreciate you being here with me, embracing vulnerability.
Reggie, thank you so much for this invitation. This was a moment created by God. That's how I see.
Mhm.
To share, to spread the message. That's important. For the
Yes, it's
message.
been a blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of Vulnerability Muscle. If you've enjoyed these conversations around vulnerability, please consider leaving a review. Your feedback not only motivates us to continue to do the work that we do, but it allows other people to witness the power of vulnerability. Share your thoughts on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And don't forget to spread the word. You can follow us at Vulnerability Muscle on Instagram, and me personally at Reggie D Ford across all platforms. Visit vulnerabilitymuscle.com for additional resources and support. And remember, embracing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is the source of your greatest strength. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but most workouts are. So keep flexing that vulnerability muscle.